Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cocktails and Rocktails with me, your most notorious groupie, Allison Rouse. The place where we are out and about talking the truth about rock and roll, what it's like, who's doing what, knowing things about certain lead singers' divorces. Here first, you guys, I am the author of this little book right here, not so little and only half the story. These little guys right here, where you can get all that, my funny as hell merchandise down in that description. Hit that link tree. Go fiddle about. Come join me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Might be leaving Facebook. I'm over it. But yeah, go down in that description, fiddle about, because you know I like it when you use your fingers. Woo! And thank you guys as always for being such an amazing family here. I've got so many women. I am so excited. I would like to get on the show that are interested in coming on. I need to figure out, I'm going to be back on that Australian radio show possibly on the 30th of this month that I did not long ago. And it's live, so you guys will have to be up. I'll put the link down again. Because I did what I did about a month ago. Total blast. Really nice guys. Had a fun. Absolutely wonderful. So thank you, Tina, for setting that up. Because through you guys, I've been able to expand this channel so much. So truly, honestly, humbly, from the bottom of my heart, I am so thankful for you guys. We are such an amazing family, and I'm so lucky to have the love and support. Really, truly makes my day every time I come on. So thank you guys so much. And speaking of being thankful, one of the things that was the phenomenon of the early 2000s, because a lot of people don't realize that the internet, it kind of was slowly growing along. And when it first kind of came out, there was only a couple, there's rotten.com, which the gaping maw, Lord knows what that site was. Who remembers rotten.com? But it was very message board heavy. And, corn, the adult kind of corn. It was very heavy for that kind of stuff back then. So it was like a ton of AOL chat rooms, stuff like that. It was just growing. And there were really only two places that groupies could hang out. The original, Groupie Central. The second, and the most badass fucking groupie board ever in the history of groupie boards, Metal Sludge. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to kind of compare the two. We're going to talk about Metal Sludge. We're going to talk about a couple epic threads that are still, people kind of still add to one of them, and a lot of people visit the second one quite often. So, and because we're groupies, we like to frolic, so we're going to have some of our local. Really awesome. These guys are iconic. I'm pretty sure you can get the Red Rock nationally. I talk about Ferda, Temple and Family Brewing, Kevin Templin, who's widely regarded as one of the two best brewmasters in the state. Marcio from Shades, he's my favorite, but Kevin Templin, absolutely fucking amazing. So he was the brewmaster for here for a long time and went to create his own brew house. And he just made some really amazing brews for Red Rocks, you guys. So if you can find him, pick him up. And everybody, let's get a little frolicking on. Kick up your feet and let's have some cocktails and rocktails. The message board edition. I like it when you guys can hear me pouring it. Oh, so fresh and so clean. All right, everybody. Cheers, big ears. And this is actually the first time I've tried this one. This is one of their staples that have been around for years. But the Frolic Pills, this is the first time I've tried this one. I love their Golden Goddess. I love their stout. Absolutely delicious. Very good staples to have in your beer collection. So, all right. Cheers, big ears. Oh, so good. Okay. I really like this because it's nice and crisp like a... Oh, I'm drooling. That's how much I like it. But, so, yeah, really crisp, nice flavor, super clean, very easy to drink, a slight sweetness to it. Absolutely love it. Of course, it's Red Rock. You can't go wrong with Red Rock. So if you see it in your local groceries, pick it up, guys. Okay, so let's get to chatting. So, speaking of chatting... Back in the day, there was really only, the original groupie message board was Groupie Central. It's now gone defunct. You can still find some of the threads, like Baby Buell was actually active on it. I was, a couple other real groupies, but really for the most part, it was kind of maybe a couple friends of bands like Alice in Chains or, but it was mostly fans like trying to big dog people with the articles that they read. So like it's like I just did the episode with the groupies of the 70s versus the groupies of the 80s. Like Groupie Central was really kind of the groupies of the 70s. They were polite, sneaking around, kind of a bunch of fakes mixed in with a few actual real life groupies. Because like I said, Baby Buell was on it. There's an iconic thread of somebody bitching her out because you're not the real Baby Buell. And it's like, yeah, she was. You know, oh God, what the hell? Call my mom, I can't breathe. Inside family joke. But anyway, don't know how, trying to breathe with allergies and all this shit this year is just not fun. So anyway, so it's kind of like the more sedate, the kind of more relies on the story of the rockers being the king and the threads. You know, Jared Leto was out of there as a total sadistic jerk off, you know, with his band and stuff. So it was kind of a nice jump off start. It was kind of a nice ground foundation to build off of. And Metal Sludge came along and just blew everything out of the water. Anybody who was any groupie of the 80s, like it was loud, honest, brash, funny. Women were so empowered like we were in the 80s to take our sexual prowess and our sexual antics as our own and make them our own instead of being part of, you know, the Hugh Hefners or whatever, the rock stars' prowess. They were part of ours. And that was very much Metal Sludge because, you know, there were 80s rockers there that actually participated in some of the threads, but lurked constantly because it's owned by Metal Sludge is owned by Stevie Rochelle from the 80s glam LA band Tough. I've talked about him here with Henrik Ostergaard, who he got in a fight with because I went on their bus to smoke weed, and Henrik got all kinds of up in his feels and stuff. Too much Jack Daniels that day. But anyway, so Stevie Rochelle, he started this, and it's got like a bunch of different boards. It's got the Haters board. It's got, you know, the Sludge Lounge. It's got Donna's Hoe board. Now, Donna's Hoe board was the groupie gathering place of Metal Sludge, but it also had Donna's size chart. Like, this was the first one to come out and say, this is how big Lars Ulrich is. This is how big Glenn Tipton is. So when you see a lot of this on the internet today, it started on Metal Sludge. Like I said, that site was just the wild, wild west of fucking 80s groupies, of rockers, everybody. It was just a gathering place, the first of its kind. And I haven't really ever seen a rock and roll gossip board like this since, you know? Not with Reddit, not nothing. It was an uncharted territory with a lot of straight shooters and a lot of the 80s glam rockers lurking around to see what was being talked about by their size. You know, even some of them would argue in the comments on the sizes. So it was just really cool to have this place where we could all kind of gather because, like I said, the 70s groupies and the 80s groupies were such a different world. So Groupie Central was more of Almost Famous bullshit, you know, even before Almost Famous came out. And it was just like, you know, Pamela DeBars went on there to look for women to use in her new book. And she hit every one of us up. She messaged each one of us, including me, not realizing who I was at the time, because I didn't bring myself out and about, you know, I didn't out myself on that board as the woman with John Entwistle. I was very heavily known for the Metallica threads, the Alice in Chains, stuff like that. So I was more geared to the 80s and 90s. So she asked me, she asked a couple other girls. Obviously, she never asked Baby Buell because, well, you know, a little rivalry there. But, so, and all of us turned her down, and then she ended up with those people that, you know, the Terror Twins that had some local band in a short bus, and, you know, all the girls in her book, the waitress from the Rainbow, who really doesn't have any significant stories, got married, had kids, typical, you know. Because the real groupies that were there, the couple of us were either from Seattle in the 90s or in the 80s. So we knew our value, we knew our worth, you know, and that's what kind of the Metal Sludge became. And like I said, there was loud, brash, honest, women empowered. 80s rockers were It was no holds barred. And of course you're going to get, your trolls and stuff. I'm gonna read some of the stuff we had from the board here in a minute because it was just too good. We had the big players like Miss P. She was a journalist, a groupie, a rock chick. She had a lot of great stories. Miss Vi, who was with Donnie Vi from Enough's Enough, and they were on there lurking. Colleen, who I love, Tina, Nashville Nicole, Tabitha, Out of Lurkmore, Pantera Man, Tina, just so many of us were on there. And like I said, this was a place people would come on, hey, what about Tracy Guns? What about anybody ever be with Robert Plant? And we wouldn't come back as, oh, it was magical, I was amused, popping birth control. It's like, yeah, he had a big dick and knew how to eat pussy. This is for adults only. I should probably bleep that out. So, where am I at? Okay. So, and that was really kind of the difference. The wildest that Groupie Central ever got was Bebe Buell saying something that someone was just trying to trash on her, just, degrade her with cheap shots and stuff. And Bebe Buell kind of fought back. But that was really it. There was a bunch of, like I said, wannabes and trolls and people who had read too much, in magazines and stuff, and that was very highly controlled and geared to skipping some of the reality. And we didn't take shit from trolls there. There was two really kind of epic threads that kept going, and one of them still going to this day. And it was called the Hoboard Porn Workshop, where you talked about, everybody added on to a fake porn story with rock stars, but maybe added their own reality to it, or things that might have happened but didn't really use the name. So it was kind of fun to just follow that one and see, guess what was real, what wasn't real. But the other one was started. I'm snarky as fuck. I think we've all figured that out by now. I'm not. 80s ladies, cheers to Gen X women. We do not pussyfoot around. So there was this girl, Frenchie. La Frenchie, she went by. Until I got a hold of her. She a bitch. Excuse me. So anyway, she was this girl who pretended to be very much aristocratic and a society woman among Paris and France and Versailles. She had a picture of her. She had a little website that talks shit, and she had a picture of her and Jeff Ament, and it was obviously in front of a hotel, because in a lot of Europe, ladies in the United States, we have free reign to walk into a hotel and go meet the band. You can't do that. So you can tell the fan pictures from Europe because they're standing out in front of the hotel by the sidewalk. Jeff Ament looks pissed. He just wants to get in his car and fucking go to wherever the hell he's going, right? And that was about it. And she had these really horribly photoshopped pictures of herself with like royalties from Germany and stuff that we've never heard of. Oh, this is a relative of Marie Antoinette, and this is Paloma Picasso, and it's like, bitch, just because you're wearing her pin or her earrings does not mean that you are meeting Paloma Picasso. And these pictures on the website were very horribly photoshopped in. Like, her head would be this big as compared to everybody else's heads. And she was just the biggest fan of YouTube. And, being the Groupie Central board, like I said, we were all very wild free. It was like a safari experience. All the animals were wandering free. You could feed us and we would fucking chow down, right? So, and we would, like I said, no holds barred. We were very, very real. We were very crass sometimes. We were very just brazen about our adventures and sharing it with people. Like I said, there was a size chart on that. I don't know if it's still there, and talking about what sizes the guys were. So this was a place where everything was game, and we let it all go. So I see a U2 thread. I'm like, oh, let's, I know Adam. I met Adam for a minute or two or 13. Anywho, so I go on the board and I see all the posts that she's doing, and they're so like fake. And oh my God, I was in Bono's castle standing out by the front, and I saw him go in, and I went and hid in the woods next to Adam's place in France and stuff like that, you know? So it was very kind of fan fiction, but she was trying to pass it off as real. So I was like, oh, I knew Adam. I'm like, this doesn't sound like him, but you know, everybody can be different with other people, where it's all different chemistries, it's all different things, you know, dynamics, whatever. And she's like, who are you? Who are you? And started freaking out on me, like had this total meltdown just because I put a couple sentences as, oh yeah, I knew Adam. They do date other women. Because she was like, they only date supermodels and royalty and the most beautiful women in the world. And I don't think I'm beautiful women. I can hold my own. Am I the most stunning women in the world? No. But, you know, what's inside really kind of enhances the outside, no matter how pretty or not pretty or whatever society tells us to think you are. Because I think we're all beautiful in our own ways. It's how we carry ourselves. It's how we feel on the inside, you know. So, and she's like, you are no model. You are a sad, pathetic stripper. You are nothing but this and that. And because it was known that, you know, many of us on that board were former strippers, and we had laughs about it, you know, stuff like that. And she was like, Adam Clayton would never, ever give you the time of day. Well, he might have not give me the time of day, but she sure gave me good. He never got a tap, tap, tap. So, you know, and I kind of joked about that. And she just started terrorizing me online. Like, just had a total mental breakdown, right? So, and everybody kept coming to my defense, you know, and thank you everybody who did. And, excuse me. So, then it was just like, you know, I got to the point, and I'm like, all right, I'm starting a thread. Here we go. And I call it La Frenchie, the Stenchy. I'm like, all right, you guys, we all have issues with her. She's terrorized all of us. She keeps making fake accounts. Even if we block her, she comes back. Even some of the rockers were chiming in like, who the fuck are you, stank face? You know, but, so I made one of the most iconic threads there. Accidentally going, all right, everybody, here we are. We've all been terrorized for her. Here is your place to rip her a new asshole. So let's see. First of all, and two people started off there. Oh, this is going to be an epic fail. 20 pages later, in 2 years, because like I said, it was so awesome, and it was just so funny because you'd see her having these meltdowns and breakdowns, and well, you're nothing but a whore. Pamela DeBarge is so much better than you, and this, and I'm like, bitch. No, I don't even care. You know, she'd just throw things. And the girl ended up stalking me for a decade. And I'm not even kidding. Not even kidding. Like a lot of negative stuff you see online about me in that 10 years was all Frenchie the Stenchy. For all I know, she could be the current one. I don't know. So, because she was that mental. So, yeah, it was a fun thread. Hold on. I'm going to read some of it to you. Let me go grab my tablet. So we're going to start with the size chart, because it's called something else, and I'll put the link down in the description so you guys can see it, because it is really fucking funny. So Art Alexakis from Everclear, the lead singer, he's at least 8 inches. He's loud and practically rabid for eating and rimming. He loves his basketballs fiddled about, is a great kisser, and enjoys his encounters in odd semi-public places. So, I mean, this is getting very, very detailed. And this place, like I said, was the first of its kind. All right. Videoapicé of Dio. And it was so tongue-in-cheek. Like I said, this website absolutely personifies the attitudes of 80s groupies. So, videoapicé from Dio. Your jaw won't get sore, you know. He's an average Joe, but his one-eyed snake does blow out enough Kip Winger juice for 10 guys. I love this site. I miss it, you guys. We should totally fucking bring it back. Okay, let's see. Who's on here that I know? Ooh, Sebastian Bach. Let's see. Bach can deliver the goods, as most skinny tall guys can. He has been seen with a variety of groupies out on the road, and reports are that he doesn't shower much. Ooh. We all know the Stephen Piercy story that first time. Oh, ugh, ugh. If Kip Winger was a smell, it would be Stephen Piercy. Okay. And Reb Beach, if you guys have ever watched The Bitchin' in the Kitchen with Oris, I believe he talks about this. And anybody who knew Reb Beach on the road back in the 80s has a Reb Beach and his trouser snake story of how it would be flipped over their shoulder, like from behind. Like he would just tail right onto your shoulder. Well, we'll tell you he's married, but still pursue you. If you play with his dirty onion ring, he'll worship you. Oh, he's a little backdoor. Okay. Okay, now, this is what I don't get. Average all around, shows respect, and doesn't seem to be too much the player. He likes him young. Okay, I could see where he might be average in bed, but I'm going to trust the roadies here. He's supposedly like a fucking camel. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Bobby Blots or a rat? We know I hate Bobby Blots or a rat. The Blots is about 6 inches or less. It stands straight and isn't crooked. He likes the mouth stuff. While he watches the girl give him just like a prayer. For those of you singing it in church, you might want to do that song on your knees. Because that's what it's about. All right. Anyway, but you're getting my drift. Okay. Oh, here's one. Vito Bratta. Ooh, okay. I never caught him with his pants down. He tried to, but I took off with Joe Perry. Hung like an Italian stallion. Very large, very sexy, and will have some pie for days. Just lap that shit right up. Good. Cheers to you, Vito Bratta. We like a guy who eats pumpkin pie for days on end. Highly recommend Mick Jagger's mouth. Okay, but you're catching my drift. Oh God, who else do we have? Let's see. Who's some people we don't ever hear about? We all know Glenn Danzig. He's hung about as tall as he is, you know, which is a very localized experience. Phil Anselmo. We all know Phil Anselmo. He can make a horse jealous. Okay, here's one that I know that I just confessed to the other day. Kevin DeBrow from Quiet Riot. Kevin has a good body and an average. He's very passionate and worth looking into, providing you dig guys who wear a rug. Which, like I said, that's one of my... Does he see me? I'm chewing my arm off in the morning, guys. But I have to admit, it was not bad at all. So, ooh, Eminem. Marshall is average, but good girth. Really good girth, apparently. Loves to have a pie eating contest and likes it returned. Yeah. Hey there, Eminem. What's up? No, I'm kidding. I mean, because ladies, come on, we all know. Thickness is where it's at. All right. Ooh, Tom Hamilton of Aerosmith. Much to the chagrin of naive fans, he definitely participates in groupie activities. He tends to like brunettes and is very flirty and articulate. He's very discreet about his encounters. His manness is about 8 inches in average thickness. Tom is very good with this area and likes a lot of foreplay, but insists on being safety first. Like I always said, if it's not love, wear a glove. And sometimes a helmet. If you're going to be with Dave Gahan, because you just don't know where you're going to end up. All right. But you're catching my drift, you guys. You got to go read this. It looks like they've added quite a few. Anything that is in white. Because the original list was all red lettering. But anything in white is like new. They've got like newer guys from Seven Dust, Stereo Mud, Drowning Pool, Every Mother's Nightmare. That's an old one that yeah. Mick Mars. Ooh, okay, we don't hear too much about Mick Mars. The faces on Money look younger than Mick. So true. Okay. Where is that? Where's I lost it? Okay. I've hardly ever gotten any reports on Mick, and I think that is a good thing. The one short story I heard is meh. So, yeah, okay. All right. Bret Michaels of Poison. Tap, tap, tap. Excuse me, sir. So, okay, let's go. We're going to go find the hoe board. Hold on. Okay, and Donna's hoe board, it was actually known as the most feared groupie board on the internet. And it was. I'm not even telling you. So I mean, it's got a lot of really good ones. Most of them are new, aren't as fun. Because like I said, if you get into the older ones, you know, you go down and look at Frenchie the Stenchy or, God, because this was really, really hot about 2010 to about 2012, 2013, somewhere around there. But I mean, like, talks about Rob Zombie, who is the biggest rock star slut. That one was started, that was the last time it was posted on was 2019. Let me find, I'm going to search for La Frenchie the Stenchy. And for those of you who are going to go check it out, I went by Sin City Quenny. Queenni. It was supposed to be Queenie, you know, Sin City Queenie. But, yeah, I was a typo. And it's funny because Quenny is slang for stuff down there in some countries. So, kind of worked out good. All right, so let's see. Let's go to La Frenchie the Stenchy. Nope. Okay, so I'm going to read one of her meltdowns because, and Nemesis, I love them. They were so funny. She's like, proof I'm a socialite. In the pic at the bottom of the page mentioned here, I'm with His Royal Highness Prince Axel of Bourbon Parme, a direct heir of Louis the 14th. And we are not on the pavement. We are at a chic dinner with the prince is at my table. So this is who she was. And oh, Wednesday, I'm going to a huge party with His Royal Highness Prince Charles Edmund de Bourbon Parme, the two sisters, Princess Bourbon Sicilies. I'll take pics more. To Sin City Quenny. Sometimes you say you're an ex-stripper from Vegas, and after that you're a top model career worthy of Jerry Hall. Your Vogue covers seem like delusion. I never said I was in Vogue covers. I was in a couple French Vogue. And I did walk some runways. I wasn't a model, just strippers were in style. So they came to Vegas and picked a few of us up for a few shows. And there was actually another woman that I worked with in a couple of those shows on this website as well. So the difference between you and Loren Scott is you and Loren and you, who I knew Loren in her Salt Lake City days before she ever left and became a model and Mick Jagger and stuff. She and I actually walked a couple local runways together. So the difference between you and Loren is she is a pal with the biggest rock stars, and she and Mick are invited to the huge castle of His Serene Highness, the Prince of d'Arenberg, who is a young billionaire, and you are not. Honey, as long as I was upstairs in Mick Jagger's hotel room with his face between my legs, I was perfectly fine. I don't need to go to no stinking castle. Okay? Because I'm going to fucking goddamn Mick Jagger Wonderland. I'm cool with that. You know? But that was her. And the picture she's talking about, like I said, was when she was kind of photoshopped in and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, go check it out. Like I said, I'll put the link to Metal Sludge. You can look up La Frenchie the Stenchy thread on Donna's hoe board. It's really just fucking hilarious. So yeah, and it kind of came the demise. Whoops. And the decline of Metal Sludge kind of signaled what rock and roll on the road has kind of become, because a lot of trolls started showing up, you know, a lot of people just abusing the groupies, the girlfriends of the rock stars that were there. It just kind of became a lot of La Frenchie the Stenchies. So we all got sick of it and decided we all just kind of started gravitating away from it, as things do, trends happen and stuff like that. Melissa, she recently discovered it a couple years ago. She's one of our awesome family members here, does a lot of rock and roll traveling and stuff, so to see bands and stuff, but it just started dying up because of all these trolls, because of all these haters, much like how the business side of the music industry infiltrated it and made it boring, and the groupies started kind of leaving and not being as part of it. And we all know rock and roll without groupies, it's mundane. It's sedate. It's just another fucking night in another town in another hotel bar. It's the groupies make what goes on in between those places actually memorable. So that's kind of where rock and roll has gone and where metal sludge has gone, without the cool groupies, without us badass bitches who were, actually part of the world, without the rockers on there going, hey, you said I was really good. I said you were really good at guitar. Not that, dude. Because I love when a bunch of women who are strong, who are very much in their own, comfortable in their own skin, their own body, their own prowess, their own world, their own life, whatever. I love it when we get together because the wild, wild west always ensues. So you guys go check it out, Metal Sludge. Go, and you can still find some Groupie Central stuff. Go check that out. You'll see me. I don't even know I think I'm Panda on Groupie Central. Which that kind of tells you even my handle name was very, very calm. Panda was the stage name of a very good friend of mine from Seattle. But yeah, so that's Metal Sludge. Like I said, it was so crazy. I would love to revive it. We still have family members that have followed, we've been friends and they've come along with me here. It's just, so yeah, if you were on Metal Sludge, tell me who you were down there and let's talk about it. We should get it going again because, like I said, that place was a fucking blast. We just were, like I said, no holds barred, and it really kind of told you the complete difference between the 70s and the 80s groupies. The 80s groupies, we just fucking went out there, kicked those doors in, and our voices were heard. It was our party. The rock stars just sort of came along for fun. But, okay, and thank you guys so much for getting through the kind of babble with me today, getting through this episode. I totally appreciate you guys. Totally love that people stay till the end. It really, truly means a lot because most people don't. So, thank you for getting to the end of this episode with me today. Like I said, ladies, if you were down there, Tabitha, Pantera Man, anybody that was down there at Metal Sludge, let's talk. Let's start the bullshit up again. Because like I said, Frenchie the Stinchy, that bitch stalked me for another 10 years. Like, she went on Who's Dated Who and all this stuff. She tried all these places. I just got her banned and ignored her. She finally faded off. Who knows? Probably still standing outside on sidewalks for hotel, waiting for Eddie Vedder. Never gonna happen. But again, thank you guys so much for being here. And thank you to everybody who's just sort of hanging out, watching, enjoying it, having fun. Just really, truly means a lot. So keep sharing, keep watching, keep subscribing, you guys, because it is time to be the new Metal Sludge as far as groupies. It is time for us 80s ladies to take over like we did in the 80s because, being a groupie is not for a week. We are not merely the accessories of the rock stars like a lot of the 70s women were because that was still society at the time. The 80s, we kind of took our own and we've got to all kind of still own ourselves because this channel could be in danger, to be quite honest, with the way things are going right now. If pornography does get banned in this country, guess what I will be considered? So, ladies, let's take this shit back. It's okay. We're all awesome. We can all have our stories. We can all have our adventures, no matter who you are or what's happening in your life, It's still cool. So, everybody, hit that subscribe button that's just lurking around. Let's get more people. I just love watching the numbers grow, and I kind of want a plaque. But, alright, so hit the subscribe, hit my bells, and we will see you next time on Cocktails and Rocktails. Cheers, big ears. Oh, and Metal Sludge. There was one question that I saw recently that I would like to answer here because I forgot my login for. I don't even think I have the email address anymore. But so there is one question that I did want to answer here for Metal Sludge. One of them was, has anybody ever met the actor / musician Paul Reiser? Yes. It was not pretty. Because me being the smart asshole that I am. So when my best friend and cousin Amy, Ginger, and our friend Jennifer, our little friend group from Vegas, we all went on a girls' weekend to LA. We're hanging out, and cousin Amy was seeing this guy, Adrian, who was like, yeah, meet up at this club tonight. My friend's going to be singing in this band, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I would like to hook Allison up. I think she'd be perfect for him, yada, yada, yada. So we're walking into the club, and he's like, yeah, it's a Led Zeppelin cover band tonight. I was like, oh, Led Zeppelin. I'm like, why? I'm like, who's going to pretend? So anyway, we're walking into the club, and all of us girls are walking with Adrian and Amy and everything. And towards us comes a couple guys, and one of them is Paul Reiser, right? So he comes walking towards me. He's like, Allison, hey, I've heard a lot about you. So nice to meet you. Gives me this big hug and stuff. And I'm like, oh, what are we seeing tonight? What's happening? He's like, oh, it's a Led Zeppelin cover band. And I was like, oh, why watch the cover band when I can see the real thing? And I made a smart ass remark. And he came at the table. We got along great. We're just talking. I wasn't into him like that. I just thought he was a cool guy. Talking. And all of a sudden he's like, oh, I'll be back in just a second. Gets up, gets on the microphone, is the singer of this Led Zeppelin cover band that I just trashed. So yes, Metal Sludge person who's ever asking that, I have met Paul Reiser. We never went out after that. He did get my number. He did call me, but I just wasn't interested. I was still into Steve Jones and Vinnie Paul at the time. So, and I believe it was after John passed away. It was 2003. So, yeah, that's my story of Paul Reiser. There you go.